It is so funny that after reading a synopsis, watching a PV, and everything around Spy Classroom, that it didn't really dawn on me until I actually watched the first episode of pretty much Assassination Classroom in a sense. But yes, Spy Classroom, a series that is so packed with insane talented seiyus, it's crazy. I just watched the first episode of the series. I gotta say, it's pretty promising, but it's my first impressions of it. A show is airing in the winter 2023 anime season, running for 12 episodes, so let's jump right into it. Spy Classroom opens up in a world that has pretty much been ravaged by a humongous Great War, and this war pretty much left so many countries devastated, and it kind of talks a little bit later on about how the advancement in technology has gone so far that these different nations don't want to fight with weapons anymore. Things would be devastating if they continue to do that. Science has advanced so much that they look for other methods. And obviously, as the title would lead you to believe, that is the use of spies, letting the spies themselves prevent or resolve the conflicts. And we quickly shift over to the Den Republic, where we start following a girl named Lily. She's an up-and-coming spy who has recently gotten her provisional graduation in order to essentially be a part of this new team, this team of spies. This greatest spy in the entire world, Klaus, has been given the impossible mission by his leader to put together this group of girls for this mission 1 month away. And they call it an impossible mission because it's got a pretty much a 90% failure rate even for first-class spies. And yes, the team that he's put together is pretty much all the washouts. 7 girls who are pretty much the worst. But yes, this Lily goes there, ends up meeting all the other 6 girls, and then they're confronted by Klaus, who pretty much tells them, again, in 1 month, we will all do this mission. It's an impossible mission, and we're going to start training. Now, the problem comes is when they actually all sit down together, quickly realize this guy doesn't know how to teach. He's really incredible, but he's a terrible teacher. Essentially, he gives each one of them a lock and says, unlock this, and they don't do it fast enough. He takes them all away, and then he throws them all up in the air, and then quickly unlocks all of them in a split second. And that was his lesson. He says, did you get it? Oh, let me try it again. Did you get it? Well, I've just discovered that I'm not very good at teaching. And then he walks out. And this obviously scares all these girls. As they all pretty much meet together afterwards, they're all thinking to themselves, this is obviously an attempt by the organization to get rid of us. We're all the failures, and so they've been giving us an impossible task just to get rid of us. And so yes, there's a little bit of warriors being created here. But Lily, our main focus character for this first episode, she's not gonna let that be. Her specialty is actually poison, so she concocts a plan. And later on, she goes to Klaus directly and says, you're having troubles teaching people. Well, how about a change of scenery? I've always heard that a change of pace, going out, getting fresh air, can sort of spark ideas. So Klaus agrees, and the two of them go out to the town together. They go through this market area called Maple Lane. Some lady gets her purse stolen. He, in a split second, is able to pull the purse from his hands and hand it to the lady. But during this entire process, they start to look at the foods in the area, and he actually describes in great detail everything that it takes to put together a meal, which surprises Lily. Well, you did just fine explaining it there. Why can't you explain how to do spy stuff? And the way that Klaus kind of explains it to Lily is that he asks her, what do you do to put on a shirt every morning? What do you do to put on a shirt? Well, I put on a shirt. Which arm do you use first? Do you turn your waist? What order do you button up your shirt? And she's like, well, I just kind of do it. And he goes, that's exactly my problem. It's almost as if it's second nature to Klaus. So explaining how he does something is sort of difficult because it just happens. He doesn't know the details of how he puts it together. I would argue just do it very slowly, but I sort of get the idea. Sometimes you just naturally learn things and it's difficult to explain it to somebody. I think a better example, and I think that's what they're kind of getting with, is how do you explain to somebody how to breathe? Your body does it. How do you walk? All that kind of stuff. It's sort of something that I've learned here recently is difficult because I have a certain family member that is essentially, because of something that happened to them, they have to relearn how to do things. And it's like, wow, you don't realize how difficult it is to do something until you're trying to explain to somebody how to do something that seems natural. Anyways, I'm getting stuck in the weeds. Eventually, Lily leads him over to this one area where they have this sunset, and she says, oh, this is great, let's go do this. And they get on this boat together, and they go out into the sea. At which point, Klaus starts getting heavy on the idea that every single face that you see in the marketplace, every lovebird that was on the dock there, every single person that you've seen, take note of it. Capture it in your mind. He explains that at some point in the past, this exact same market street had a bomb planted there. And it was to take out a political leader. But because they're spies, they were able to find out that information and stop it from happening. A tragedy on that market street with all those people there was stopped because of the spies. But then Lily kind of shoots right back at him saying, well, that's why exactly I can't be a part of this. You're sending us out to our deaths. And I'm not ready to die. And none of those girls are ready to die. Again, expressing their fears they have that this is just a suicide mission. So, Lily triggers her plan, opens up this canister, and it spreads out this poison that paralyzes Klaus. But it doesn't affect Lily. And this is where we get a very brief backstory of Lily herself, where she was in this one area that was having chemical tests done on it by the Imperial forces. And Lily was the sole survivor. She's had an immunity to the poisons, and a spy saved her. So she always seeked to be a spy and to change the world. Yes, because her entire village was wiped out. But yes, Klaus isn't an idiot, so he knew this was coming. And then he goes into explaining what he put into effect to prevent her from taking him down. He thought it was curious that the boat trip wasn't a part of her plan, the schedule that she gave him to begin with. So he checked it out, scoped it out, and yes, put into measures to counter any attack that she could do. And yes, she forgot her antidote, so that pretty much led to her have to boat them all the way to the dock just so that they didn't drown because he sunk the boat too. And what kind of comes from this whole encounter is that Klaus realizes something from what Lily did. She completely failed, but in actuality, she was a success. She taught him something, that the best way for him to teach these girls is to pin them against him. That was the whole thing I was talking about with the whole Assassination classroom thing. Yeah, he makes it clear the next day that you all are not here to die. That's not the mission. I'm going to make sure that every single one of you lives. Because, in a sense, that's sort of what his mission is. His duty was to train these girls for an impossible mission. And, if you think about it, in order to keep them all alive through the mission, that's the way to success. Losing them would essentially be a failure. And he wants to achieve the title of the greatest spy ever from his master. But additionally, he assigns Lily as being their team leader. And again, like I said, tasks them all with taking him down. So yes, my thoughts on Spy Classroom so far. Like I said before, I think the biggest early excitement that I had for the series is one, the character designs are fantastic. I love all these character designs. Lily looks fantastic. I love all of them. Even Annette. She's got the whole pie patch twin tail thing. Really great designs. And additionally, a really packed Seiyu list. I think I'm pretty much figuring their entire budget went into these girls. And technically the male seiyus too. We have now Toyama, Sumire Uesaka, Sora Amamiya, Aoyuki, even Yuichi Yomehara, and Shinjiro Miki. These are like pretty much all but maybe two of them are all pretty much S rank seiyus. Like these are the people that are the big ticket items right now. And thankfully, despite that, my fear was that all the budget goes there and the rest of the show looks crap. But no, it looks really good. Like the backdrops are fantastic. They've really captured the style of this area. I like it. The visual style is very good. And they have some decent animation for the action sequences. We're not talking about crazy stuff so far, but at least things look really good. And they're keeping all the characters on model, which, yes, the character designs are really fantastic, so I would like them to stay on model. Outside of that, like I said, the premise itself was the only thing that I was a little bit question mark on, because the synopsis really just gives this idea of, here's these girls, they all come to this class, and they're going to take down their master. I didn't think it was going to be like a broader story here. But yes, the broader sense is here is that they're training towards a mission itself that is going to involve the nations themselves. So it's not just a school show. They're just in training for their mission. They've already got their provisional graduation. But again, I think it's more intriguing the idea that this is, again, similar to like an Assassination Classroom thing, where if you think about it, Assassination Classroom, it's a bunch of kids that have been assigned to be a part of this class to take out this alien that says that on this date, he's going to destroy the world. So in a sense, them taking down the teacher is them saving their lives and everybody's lives. It's the same situation here where you have all 7 of these girls. If they don't defeat their master, they won't have the training they need to survive the mission. So in a sense, defeating their master saves their lives. That's their training. Now granted, yes, they can fail to take down their master, and their master might be able to help them finish the mission, because it sort of gives a sense that Klaus is going to be a part of that mission. He's going to be aiding them in some way. And like he said before, he's the greatest spy ever, and he feels like he's not going to fail that mission. The other thing that I'm kind of glad that it was established really quickly is that we don't have a sense here where there is certain archetypes that I typically don't like in these types of stories. Yeah, typically you'll have the, I take this too serious character. And I was really expecting to have this is a serious thing. Because when it kind of opens up, Lily's kind of ganky. She's very chippery. And she comes charging in there all happy about her next little mission that she's got. And so I assumed immediately she was going to get hit by the one character that says, oh, you look too happy. Stop. Take this seriously. But in a sense, yes, what's established very quickly when she first arrives there is they're all flunkies. They all are terrible at being spies. And again, they all felt like they were being discarded because they're failures. So they're all kind of on an even playing field. And I think that's going to add less typical but less frustrating type of story beat that I typically don't like in this stuff. Being on an even playing field, they'll more likely work together or at least not have like a conflict in who's better than what. Now, I do want them to each have their own specialties, and I'm sure that's what they're probably going to get into. Again, like I said, Lily, technically, her specialty is poisons. And I'm sure each one of them is going to have a specialty. They sort of indicated by the opening sequence that one girl, I think it was Sada, she has like this bird that she's able to use as like a drone. But we'll see. I'm really curious to see each of these characters in action, see their quirks, see what their specialty is, and yes, see if they can take down Klaus. And I'm hoping that in this 12 episodes, we'll actually get to that mission in a month. 12 episodes, not much to work with, and I'm kind of afraid they're just going to kind of go, okay, they're training, and the series stops. So I hope that that mission at the end of the month is like the climax for this particular core, or unless they're going to do more than one core. I did get a kick out of it when they first arrived there. They got this like house rules, and it was like pretty much things like if you are escaping, don't come back without dying, don't be disrespectful, don't invite outsiders. Certain rules don't apply when you're on a mission. Don't enter rooms and stuff without permission. So that's kind of like a way of countering people spying on each other. Alcohol consumption and smoking should be kept in moderation. At most 2 bottles of wine a day. Do not use gunpowder instead of alarm clocks. Do not impose alcohol on other residents. No gambling with money between residents. Playing for organs is limited to once a day. So you can't gamble with money, but sure, organs. I don't know if that's a bad translation. It says organs. Like the German is organ. Prohibiting of what are referred to as artistic acts. Exposure in common areas. Don't sleep on the roof. That's a very specific one. Don't sleep on the roof. Have they had people sleep on the roof? They kind of also mentioned this idea that at some point, one of the characters was saying that it's very weird because it seems as if this mansion that they're in looks like it was recently lived in. So it's almost like they're implying that the possibility that this government or whatever just came in and said, get out of this house, we're using it for a mission, and everybody had to leave on the spot. Kind of getting the sense of, yeah, it's the government itself is in control of all this stuff, so if they needed a place to have people in, it was like, get out, we're using this place. Find a different place to stay in. Anyways, that's my thoughts on Spy Classroom. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the series if you're going to be checking it out. Additionally, if you're new to this channel, make sure that subscribe button so you got my content. I do news reviews, first impressions, top list if it's anime, it's pretty much here. Yes, I'll be pretty much doing a first impressions on all the shows of the season to give you an idea of what you're looking at and if it's something you want to check out. Additionally, if you like my content and want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I greatly appreciate it, but it does. And y'all take care.